Hey guys, this is part 2 of a 4-part series. Today's video is a little shorter, and that's only because tomorrow I'm releasing a monster of a video for you. So won't you tune in and be my Valentine? Until then, enjoy. Another 2 weeks passed by, and Thanksgiving was rapidly approaching when Clyde finally went back to work as a telemarketer. It wasn't his dream job, but his options were limited by his lack of high school diploma. Clyde had walked into the small office building, which was lined up with cubicles, and sat down at his desk, without so much as a greeting upon his return. No sense of camaraderie existed between any of the workers, and if it did, Clyde certainly didn't know about it. Clyde was a grade A bullshitter. He excelled at convincing people to buy based upon how he used his voice to project emotion. Thus, Clyde was arguably destined to fail upon his return to work. Call after call hung up on him, and it wasn't long before Clyde's boss, Ralph McMahon, took notice. The thud of footsteps caused Clyde to look at the entrance of his cubicle, and there he saw his short and overweight boss with a bald and potato-shaped head. After striking out during another phone call, Ralph put his grubby hand on Clyde's left shoulder. "Come with me, Clyde," he ordered in a commanding but quiet enough tone so as to not interrupt any potential phone calls that were being made in other cubicles. Clyde stood up without so much as a sound and followed his short-fused boss back to his office. "Shut the door behind you," he said. Clyde complied and stood silently as he watched his boss walk around the oak desk and seat himself. What the hell was that?" "The hell was what?" he repeated to his boss in a monotone voice that offered up zero emotion. "Are you getting smart with me, you little runt?" "No, sir." Ralph McMahon opened his desk and pulled out a cigar case, picked out a cigar, plopped it into his fat mouth, followed up by snapping the case shut and stuffing it back into his desk drawer. The scene immediately caused Clyde's brain to compare his boss to a mobster. "Clyde Berman, I've seen you perform some amazing sales on difficult people over the years. So you must imagine my confusion when I witnessed your piss-poor results today," he responded with his thick Irish accent leaking out his mouth and around his unlit cigar. Clyde knew he should have felt anger and perhaps even a degree of fear, but instead he felt nothing. He just calmly accepted everything as it was presented to him. "I was in the hospital, you know. The doctors told me that I might be stuck with an emotional disability for the rest of my life." "Huh. Well, your tone most certainly sounds empty. I guess I'm gonna have to let you go then, Clyde. This may be an era in which political correctness reigns supreme, but I couldn't give a shit less about that. You see, while society might label one such as me a bad guy for getting rid of someone who can't perform their duty due to an injury, the bottom line is that I'm running a business here. While it is true that I could afford to keep you on at no cost to me, and you might even improve or regain your ability to sell. Why should I? You're nothing to me, Clyde. Nothing but dead weight. Get out. You're fired. He spat out as he lit his cigar. Again, Clyde felt nothing as he listened to the hurtful words coming from his prick of a boss's mouth. Please, sir, I can't afford to support myself or my girlfriend without this job. It really sounds like you are mocking me with that monotone voice of yours. Get out of my office and let me smoke in peace, dead weight. Clyde opened the door to his house and stepped inside. His eyes met Annie as she was seated in a brown living room recliner and had been reading a novel. She stood up to greet him. "You're home early," she exclaimed happily as she practically bounced up and hugged him. "Yeah, say, how was your day at the library?" He deflected in an effort to buy more time so that he could ease her into his bad news. Work was great, so he had failed. Sit down, please. Annie did as she was asked, her eyes widening in concern as she did so. He suspected she knew. It's not as if she was stupid. Annie was very intelligent and practically flawless, her only handicap being her extreme shyness. "I got fired," he continued. Smooth. "Wait, why? Did you get smart with Ralph again?" she asked with an odd hint of hope in her voice. She was desperate for Clyde to exhibit any emotion. Even an outburst would do. "No, I can't connect with prospective buyers on an emotional level, so I'm dead weight. It's all right, I have a plan. I'm going to file for disability, and if that doesn't work, then I'll try for unemployment." "You're just gonna give up?" responded her voice in a rarely heard accusatory tone. "No, it isn't like I'm qualified for much without a diploma, and the things that I am qualified for require interaction with people. People won't know what I've been through and will assume that I am mocking them when they hear my voice. I'm aiming for the only realistic options I've got for you." He pressed his point while trying to include emotion in his voice, but failing. Annie bit her lip and nodded before picking her novel back up. "I didn't intend to piss you off," he thought to himself, as he headed to the bedroom and crawled into bed, emotionless.